In this video, I'm going to discuss the basics of running a simulation. In the previous two basics of network coding videos, we specified all the information that we need to be able to run the simulation, and we have no network coding errors. So at this point, I'm going to move from the map view to the simulation panel by clicking this button here in the toolbar. In this video, we're just going to focus on the information in the single scenario run. So we need to specify the warm-up time. This is the time in which the network is going to fill up with vehicles. So initially the network starts off empty at time 0. The amount of time that you want to specify for this warm-up is going to be a function of the size of your network. That is the number of links that you have, the lengths of the links. It's going to be a function of the number of vehicles. What you're trying to do with this is essentially fill up your entire network with vehicles before you start to take any performance measurements. So during this warm-up time, there are no performance measurements being made. That starts when the warm-up time is finished and then continues throughout the simulation duration, which is the next entry here. The simulation duration is also usually going to be a function of the complexity of the network. So smaller networks that don't have a large number of vehicles may not need to be simulated quite as long because you'll get fairly reliable results after shorter durations. But again, larger networks, large number of vehicles, probably going to need to simulate those networks for a lot longer, anywhere from at least 30 minutes to 60 minutes, 1800 seconds to 3600 seconds. For our very simple example network that we have here, I'm just going to put in 300 seconds, 5 minutes. That's going to be more than sufficient to fill that network with vehicles. And we'll just then do a 15-minute simulation, 900 seconds. The random number seeds are going to affect the results that are obtained with the simulation. For any set of random seeds, you will get the same results. If you want different results, you'll need to change the random seeds. Now you can directly edit the numbers in these text boxes, or you can just click on the auto generate button and that will randomly change the random seed values. So these random seed values are used to determine things like the driver types, the vehicle types, entry headway distributions, and some other functions, algorithms within the simulator that are stochastic processes. You can run just one replication or you can run multiple replications. If you specify multiple replications, you'll see that the random seed values get grayed out, so you cannot directly change those. What will happen is those random seed values will get set randomly for each replication. There are a number of output options for each simulation. You can press this button here to see what's available. In this video, we're not going to cover the details of all these different performance measurements and output files that can be generated, but this is where you can select what kind of output you want for each simulation run. So there's different measures that are based on detector measurements. There's certain measures that are link based, and if you choose some of these link based measures over here, then you can select specific links that you want to obtain the output for. And these measures will all get written to CSV files, comma separated value files, to the output folder that's specified in your project properties. The output data folder can be specified under settings, project properties, and you can change that from here if you would like. When you're ready to run the simulation, just press the Run Simulation button. You will see another screen appear that will show you the status of the simulation, and it will give you a summary here: total time simulated, the total number of vehicles that were generated into the network, and the overall simulation time, as well as when it was completed. When the simulation is finished, we can go back to map view, and then we can run the animation to see the simulation results visually. And for that, I'm going to turn off the network nodes. This button here will toggle the network nodes on and off. And I'm also going to hide the grid lines. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit using the scroll wheel on my mouse. And I'll turn this toolbar back off, and then we will click the Load Simulation Data button and then hit the play button. Now you can speed up the animation as well by pressing this button here. We entered a fairly low flow rate, just 600 vehicles per hour. Again, that was total, so that's 300 vehicles per hour per lane. And you can change the animation speed from this drop-down box as well, but to do that you need to first pause it, and then you can select different speeds in here. If you want to go to a specific time in the animation, you can click on the simulation time number itself, and then you can type in a different number, say 300 seconds, hit enter. And then you can press the play button and it'll take you specifically to that point in the simulation. And you can see this vehicle moving a lot slower. That's because, again, we used a reduced free flow speed for the turning links, the right turn link and the left turn link. The vehicle colors are determined randomly by default, but that can be changed under the vehicle colors dialog here. So you could also change it by fleet type if you desire, as well as driver type. If you want to see the properties of any individual vehicle, you can double click with your left mouse button on that vehicle. It's usually easier to do when the animation is paused, but it doesn't have to be. And then when we start playing, you'll see various properties of that vehicle changing as it moves through the network. And that is the end of this video on the basics of running a simulation.